Welcome everyone. Hello, I'm Dr. Sarah Mitchell. I'm a chiropractor by training, but I found my passion empowering parents to teach their little ones to sleep and get their best sleep in parenting as a sleep consultant at Helping Babies Sleep. And I am super excited to be partnering with Nanit to bring expert content to the Nanit community. The community is a place for parents like you to connect with other parents and parents-to-be and caregivers on all things parenting. You'll find a variety of content and resources from health and lifestyle experts giving you tips and tricks to hopefully make your life as a parent a little bit easier. And the best part, it's free and open to anyone and everyone. Join the conversation today at community.nanit.com, and you can see the address in the bottom right-hand corner of these slides. I am so excited to talk to you today about how to get your best sleep in pregnancy. So let's dive in. Today, we're going to talk about a brief overview of sleep systems and sleep cycles, how your sleep is interrupted in pregnancy, tactics to manage pregnancy insomnia, and the mental talk around sleep, all to help you sleep better. Let's just briefly chat about sleep basics. There are 3 systems that govern and direct our sleep. Sleep is actually a very complex neurological system, which is studied by neurologists. It all happens in the brain, and it's beyond the scope. The complexities are beyond the scope of this presentation today, but I do think it's important to cover 3 systems that really do influence our sleep. The first one is that homeostatic system, and you may have heard this referred to as your sleep pressure. And basically what happens is as our bodies are just existing, metabolizing, respiration, circulation, movement, we are breaking down a molecule called ATP, which our body uses for fuel. And a byproduct of breaking that molecule down is a buildup of a protein called adenosine. And that buildup is your sleep pressure. And when it hits a certain spot, it tells your brain that it's time to sleep. And that's basically how the drive to sleep really is biological and instinctual. It's based on that. A couple things that help build your sleep pressure are things like exercise, because when you're exercising, you're using your fuel more quickly, and so your sleep pressure builds up more quickly. Of note, things that can block your sleep pressure are things like caffeine. So coffee for sure, but also other hidden sources of caffeine, such as, Diet Coke, sometimes even chocolate, black teas, kombucha, all of those things. So just be cognizant with your if you're struggling with sleep, that you want those types of caffeine consumption to be earlier in the day before noon, because they do have a very long half-life. Caffeine has a half-life of 6 to 8 hours. That's the half-life. So it can still be in your system then later on in the day. So that's your homeostatic system, your sleep pressure. The second system that helps govern our sleep is your circadian rhythm. And this is the one most people think of when they think of sleep systems, right? And that's the idea that when you wake up in the morning, the sunlight interacts with your eyeball, sends a message to your brain that daytime has started. And then when the sun goes down at night, melatonin then is secreted from our brains, and it signals our body that it's time to sleep. The circadian rhythm, very much influenced by light, okay? The third system no one really thinks about is really your emotional cognitive system. And this is true for us and our little people when they arrive. Your emotional cognitive system. So if your brain is distracted, it's very difficult to fall asleep, or you can stay awake in the night. So, thinking about your pending delivery, which crib you're going to buy, when your last honeymoon vacation is going to be, all those things that might distract you from sleep and stress and worry can really influence the quality and the quantity of your overnight sleep. And this is true for our little people once they arrive. When they're busy thinking about new motor skills or learning neurological concepts, their sleep can be disrupted that way as well. Those are often referred to as sleep regressions. Okay, so those are the basic 3 systems that help govern our sleep. Let's talk a little bit here about sleep drive and your circadian rhythm. I thought it would be helpful to show you a graph. So we talked about the homeostatic system. Let's see if I can get a little pointer here. There we go. We talked about the homeostatic system, right? That's that sleep pressure. And on this graph, it's referred to process S. So you can see that in the morning, your sleep drive is low, and then it increases all through the day and peaks in the early evening. And then as we turn the corner onto the next day, your sleep drive is decreasing. So when you wake up at 5 o'clock and are maybe distracted 5 o'clock in the morning and are distracted by an important work presentation you have to make, your pending delivery, an exciting vacation, it can be harder to fall back asleep at those times because your sleep pressure, your drive to sleep is lower at that time of day. All right. And then it restarts again as you wake up for the day, it starts to rise all day long. And remember, exercise can help increase that drive and caffeine can block it. Okay. Your circadian rhythm, remember that's based on the sun, right? It is wanting you to be asleep in the evening. You can see that you have a sleep rate roughly around 11. It can be earlier for some of us, right? Sleep's a very kind of unique thing. There are genetic components to it. And then it wants you to be awake around 7 a.m. There's actually a few different hormones involved in this process. Cortisol is one of them. Your body releases cortisol in the early morning to help you get awake for the day. Okay, so that's your circadian rhythm and your homeostatic sleep pressure. I am so excited to share with you what a sleep cycle looks like. So in a sleep cycle, we have many of these throughout the night, okay? You come from awake, okay? You drop into stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 sleep. These are basically light sleep. Sometimes when you're aware of this, you can actually be lying in bed, trying to drift off, and then pop awake and notice that you were actually in light sleep. Once you're aware this exists, it can be more noticeable to you. But what's important here is that you drop down here into stage 4 sleep, which is slow wave sleep, which is also known as deep sleep. Super important stuff. This is where your body is releasing growth hormone to help your little one grow. Your brain is washing itself of toxins. You're also cementing memories, and any learning is also being cemented in this deep sleep. It's pretty short, deep sleep, okay? And then you come back up into light sleep again. And up here at the top, we have REM sleep, which is your rapid eye movement sleep. And this is where your eyeballs might be going back and forth. And most of the other muscles in your body are actually not moving at all, okay? They are not moving at all. Now, on this graph, it doesn't show this, but sometimes you have a little peak right here at REM sleep, and that was called an arousal. So if you surface from sleep, you look at the clock, you nudge your partner, tell them to stop snoring, you reposition yourself because you're uncomfortable. Those are arousals, and they happen up here. And then you drop back down into light sleep, deep sleep, and come back up again. Now, what you might notice on this graph is that deep sleep really only happens at the beginning of your night, right? In the later stages of night, there is no deep sleep. The other thing to notice is look at the distance between the peaks here. Look at the distance between the REM sleep, is that your cycles actually get faster as the night goes on, right? So you're surfacing more frequently. And the other interesting thing to note here is when you become awake is you're often coming out of REM sleep, which is why when you wake up, you can often remember your dreams, okay? So what's important to know here, deep sleep happens at the beginning of your night. That's your more restful sleep. That's the important sleep. In general, you have less of it compared to light sleep in your whole evening. That's normal, okay? The other thing to notice is that all humans wake up in the night, right? But when we wake up and then our brain is distracted by something, that's what makes it harder to go back to sleep. And we're going to give you a couple tactics here in a minute to help with that. How sleep is interrupted during pregnancy. Mainly it's physical discomfort. Let's be real. There are a lot of physical changes going on in your abdomen. A lot of important structures are getting a lot of pressure put on them and being squished essentially. So when you have pressure on your stomach from the baby, right, that's what causes heartburn. What is heartburn? Heartburn is the acid in your stomach being splashed back up your esophagus. And it feels like a burning sensation because that is stomach acid. You also have pressure on your bladder, right? So you may have to use the restroom more in the night, or you may find that you can't hold your urine as long because your bladder is designed to expand. But when you're sharing that space with another little human being, it doesn't have the same amount of space to expand, which is also, side note, one of the reasons many kids become bedwetters is that they're actually constipated. There's the poop in there is decreasing the amount of space that bladder can expand. Okay, there's a parenting tip for a few years from now when they're into the toddler years. It's very difficult to get comfortable, right? That can be distracting and help impede your sleep. In the third trimester, for sure, you're going to have low back pain as your sciatic joints are stretching and changing and your sacrum is repositioning itself, especially when your baby starts to drop down lower, getting ready for the pending labor. And the one that I love talking about is really your digestion. Your digestion. So here's the thing. When we go to sleep at night, most of our systems actually slow down. Our heart rate slows down, our breathing rate slows down, our digestion also slows down. The only one that increases is our immune system. So your immune system is really active at night, fighting off foreign invaders, repairing tissues that were damaged during the day. So if you've noticed, if you've ever sprained your ankle tends to hurt more at night or early in the morning. And that's because at night, all of our good, healthy immune system came into the area to help repair the tissue. And that increased visitors or cells to that area caused inflammation. And inflammation causes pressure, and pressure causes pain, essentially. So inflammation at night is what causes pain. That's a little side note on the immune system. But your digestion really does slow down, okay, in an average person. In pregnant people, think about it, your digestion's now slowing down and you have that much less space. Everything's all squished together. So digestion at night is one of the main reasons for people having disrupted sleep. And we'll talk about, tactics to manage that in another slide in a moment here. Another main reason how sleep is interrupted in pregnancy is, anxiety, which relates to that third system that helps govern sleep, your emotional cognitive system. So you are worried about your pending delivery, about how your life's going to change, about your baby's growth. There's so many unknowns about to happen to you. It's normal to have some anxiety with that, right? And so again, we're going to address possible tactics to help you with this here in the next slide. But these are the main reasons why your sleep is interrupted when you're pregnant. Physical discomfort and mentally anxiety, but your mind is busy. Let's just put it that way, okay? So some tactics to help you manage this pregnancy insomnia. So the first one is, how can we help you alleviate some of that physical discomfort? So sleeping position. The ideal position for you is probably on your left side with a pillow between your knees and a belly wedge, right? When you're sleeping on your right side, you're one of your main veins going back to your heart, your vena cava, is on that right side. So when you sleep on that right side, you get more pressure on that, which could actually kind of stagnate some of the blood flow back to your heart and cause some swelling in your legs, and just generally not advised. So your left side, you want to be sleeping on. The reason for the pillow between your knees is to help you ease some of the pressure on your low back and your sacroiliac joints in your hips, essentially. So a pillow can help, a pillow between your knees can help alleviate the strain on those joints, which can be helpful. And then the belly wedge, right, in your last trimester is just to help, again, some of the strain and, with gravity pulling that belly to the side. A pillow for your head is designed to keep your spine aligned, okay? When pillows for side sleepers, ideally what's happening, if you're sleeping on your side, which, this position suggests, a pillow is designed to help keep your spine in a very straight line. If you're sleeping like this to one side, you have more pressure on certain facet joints in your cervical spine, which can cause irritation. So gosh, is there any room for your spouse in that bed with you? You're going to have a lot of pillows, right? And even with that, that's helping you alleviate some of the discomfort. But let's be real, your body's undergoing a lot of changes. It may not completely eliminate them, but let's try and help you as much as we can, okay? The other tactic, and this is a huge one, is don't eat 2 to 3 hours before bed, right? The National Sleep Foundation recommends this for all people, not just pregnant people, because we know that digestion slows down, right? And your body's not diverting a lot of that blood flow to that digestive system at evening time or at bedtime when you're sleeping, okay? In addition, we've got that whole heartburn aspect going on. We've got what I call slow transit time. So when you have food in your stomach in the night, it's going to be passing through your system very slowly. Compound that with that compressed intestinal system due to pregnancy, it's going to move that much slower. And that's what can cause indigestion, right? I have worked with a couple of moms who were really struggling with insomnia in the nighttime. And then they said they followed my next advice, which is actually, get up and do something mindless. And they'd be up for 20 to 30 minutes. And then they would realize that they had to go to the bathroom to release some stool. They had to poop. basically, right? And they're like, oh my God, that's why I was awake. I didn't realize what it was until I got upright. Then I have a little bit of gravity helping move things through. And I realized that's what was keeping me awake. How can I avoid that situation? Well, it would be not eating 2 to 3 hours for bed, which I know is really tough, right? Because when you're pregnant, when you hit the end of the day, you're tired. How many of us crash in front of the TV and have a bowl of popcorn or some treats? So can you push, have a little rule for yourself that I just don't eat or drink, say after 8 o'clock at night? That can help you sleep better, right? And the last one's kind of obvious, exercise during the day. But here's the thing, when you're pregnant, exercise has a different meaning than when you weren't pregnant. Exercise might be a 15-minute walk in the evening or a 15-minute walk in the morning. One of the best things you can do in general to help your body sleep is actually having some sort of exercise outside in the morning. One, it helps your sleep pressure. Two, you're outside, you're getting that natural light. It helps reset your circadian rhythm, because your circadian rhythm, ironically, is actually 25 hours long, not 24. When they do studies on rats, that's what they find. And so the sun is important to help you reset that every single day. Okay. All right. The next one is talking about that mental game, because it's very easy to fall down the rabbit hole of like, oh my gosh, my sleep sucks. Pregnancy's killing my sleep. It's just never going to get better. And what we tell ourselves about sleep is half the battle, right? When you're having trouble sleeping, I want you to remind yourself that even resting helps. It's true. Even resting helps. Okay. Then if you're getting frustrated, you're going to go get up and do something mindless. Maybe it's cleaning your kitchen. I pinned my way through pregnancy. I would go on Pinterest and just pin things, and I would not let myself open any other tabs. I would just pin things that I liked. That worked for me. Someone else, it might be reading their fiction book, or it could even be, they say not to do this, but I have absolutely watched a couple of Netflix shows in the middle of the night, because it helped me take my brain away from what was worrying me. And it's the worry that usually impedes your sleep. Okay. The other tactic is to have a warm, comfy place to retreat to outside of the bedroom. Here's the whole theory behind this. We do not want you to start having a negative association with your bed, because that again compounds that whole mental aspect. So, if it's been like 20 minutes or so, or you're just feeling yourself getting frustrated, just get up. Go do something different, have a cozy place to retreat to. Maybe it's your sofa with a warm blanket. Maybe you decide you're just going to try and sleep there for a little bit for a change of scenery. That can work too. But what you don't want to do is lie in bed, get more and more frustrated, start stressing about, oh my God, if I only get 4 hours of sleep tonight, I'm going to be such a wreck tomorrow. Don't think those thoughts if you can. Okay. Try and avoid those. Go back to resting helps. And you know what happens? Is I find that sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to rest. It's okay. And then I look over at the clock and an hour has gone by. So I actually did fall asleep, but I didn't even realize it. Okay. So your mental, what you tell yourself is so important. A couple other little tactics are breathing exercises. So imagine a box in your brain. Imagine a box, and you're going to inhale for 4 seconds on the way up. You're going to hold it for 4 seconds at the top, and then you're going to exhale for 4 seconds to the next corner. Hold it for 4 seconds, and then inhale for 4 seconds. Hold it for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds. And why this works is it's very relaxing, but it's also taking your brain somewhere else to be able to do the counting and the holding and the exhaling and the inhaling. It requires focus, which redirects your brain from the worry that you were having to the numbers. And that is what can help you. Okay. And then along those same lines, meditation. What does meditation do? Helps you work on controlling your thoughts, which is why meditation, even during the daytime, can help you sleep as well. Right. And there's different apps that you can use depending on. And, to that point, often we talk about not having your phone in your bedroom. Okay. So, because it's really tempting, right? Social media is, they compare it to actually being similar to the handle on a jackpot machine in a casino. When you scroll, it's kind of like pulling that handle. You never know what you're going to get. And there is something kind of addictive about that. So don't tempt yourself in the middle of the night. If you're going to listen to meditation, or you need a phone for that, can you use an old phone? Can you have an old phone that doesn't have those other social media apps, or maybe it doesn't have cellular service to it, to help decrease the temptations of getting on that, right? That can help. a little repetition here, but what you tell yourself about your sleep is so important. One app that I've enjoyed using is called Think Up app. Basically, you can select different meditations in there. So there's one about great sleep. There's one about finances, health, eating habits. I've even recorded one for them on teaching your baby to sleep for you later on. But basically, you take those statements and you actually record it in your own voice. So you can listen to your own voice guiding you through different meditations about sleep. And I found it to be wonderfully helpful, wonderfully helpful. Be positive if you can. And that takes practice, right? Funny, but it does. Our caveman brain has really biologically programmed us to look out for danger. So it is a very natural human instinct to see the negative in things, but you can train yourself to work on the positive, and that goes with your sleep too. So in summary, you can manage the increased physical discomfort that you have with your body changing in pregnancy with positioning and a lot of pillows, okay? You wanna watch what you drink and eat before bed, trying to keep that food and drink at least 2-3 hours away from bedtime, or maybe you just have a cutoff that you don't eat or drink after whatever time it is it 7:30 or 8 o'clock, right? And then try and notice how you slept that night if you did limit your food intake before. Right? Try and be positive and remind yourself that just resting helps. And if you're feeling frustrated, you don't want to develop a negative association with your bed. So get out of bed, do something mindless, and try again later. I hope you found that helpful. If you're looking for more sleep tips for your baby and your newborn when he or she arrives, I teach the Helping Babies Sleep Method. This is the art and the science of teaching your baby to sleep. It's for babies 4 weeks to 24 months. We talk about gentle newborn sleep shaping, no-tier approaches, but how to help you get on a flexible schedule so you can be proactive in managing your baby's needs rather than that horrible retroactive feeling of trying to troubleshoot in the moment. We also talk about sleep teaching after 4 months. We talk about newborn naps, nights, general guidelines to help you get on the way, and specific tactics to help you get your baby falling asleep in less time, with less tears, and in the sleeping environment that you want them to sleep in long term. And you're also welcome to come follow me on Instagram, where I try and teach as much educational content as possible at Helping Babies Sleep. And don't forget to check out the Nanit community. It's community.nanit.com, with a variety of parenting and lifestyle experts to help you in this wonderful journey that you're about to embark on. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. Have a great day.